What's up, guys? My name's Marcos Garcia. Today we have a very special guest with us on Conversations with One Percenters. We have Teri Moten. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Marcus. Thanks for having me. Good to see you again.
Yes, it's a pleasure to see you again. For those of y'all who don't know, Teri was actually on one of my Facebook Lives, I would say like almost 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was 5 years ago. We connected then, and then also you got me enrolled to Legal Shield
Yes,
for
I
my
sure did.
for my business, and I still have that today.
Awesome.
Yeah. So anyone, I don't know if do you still offer that
I
service?
still do
Okay.
offer that service.
No, I'm gonna do a little plug and play real quick. Legal Shield has helped me out because every time I've needed like lawyer assistance, I've honestly just called them and never had to pay a dime, other than like my monthly fee, which is like $30 a month.
Excellent. That's what it's there for.
Yeah. So if y'all need that, little plug and play right there. But no, welcome to the show. Today we're gonna dive deep. I know about you, but my audience doesn't know about you. So we're gonna kind of dive deep into your story, what you do. I know you're big in talking about artificial intelligence. So for those of y'all who are wanting to learn or see how artificial intelligence is changing the world, this will be a good podcast to listen to.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's dive in. So, give us a little summary on like what you're currently doing right now.
Sure. Right now, one of the things that I do, and you can see behind me, I am the sales and marketing manager for Spherion Staffing and Recruiting here in South Central Texas. So you can hear my Southern twang. People always say, "Where are you from, Teri?" I hear that twang. So I'm a native Texan, and with Spherion, we do temporary staffing. We also do headhunting, executive level search type staffing and recruiting, and we cover the better part of Texas. We cover everything from, again, South Central Texas, West Texas, over into New Mexico.
Oh, that's okay. So that's interesting. So you help other companies staff their staff employees.
Absolutely, which is really important these days because the labor market is so tight and it is so competitive. We can typically help companies be able to use temporary staff, or again, if they're looking for executive level, like engineers, CEOs, CFOs, we can help get the best candidates out there for them to select from.
And who is this for? Is it for pretty much anyone looking for a job?
So it's going to be, we have two sets of clients. So one, we work for the employers where we're looking to get the best candidates for them to choose from. And then we also have the candidates that we work for and trying to get them matched with the best job opportunity. So we staff for almost every industry out there with the exception of clinical healthcare. But we do a lot in the industrial space, the light industrial space, so a lot of the plants and manufacturers. We do a lot with them. Engineering firms, you name it. We can pretty much staff in any industry out there. Again, except for clinical healthcare.
Love that. No, that sounds honestly, if you're looking for a job, like a job opportunity, I mean, that's another angle for people to reach out to you about.
Absolutely.
But you were talking to me about your coaching program that you also do on the side. Can you let us know more about that?
Yes, for sure. So Marcus, and when we first met, I was actually doing business coaching. And I was helping businesses that were typically in their first 5 years of operation. I still continue to do that because there are so many business owners that just starting out, they're bootstrapping everything. They have what I call Mad Hatter syndrome. They're wearing all the hats. They're the HR, they're the salesperson, they're the payroll person, the office manager. And a lot of times they don't have access to resources that they need. And they may have knowledge about what they do. They may own a bakery, or they may also be a coach or consultant themselves. They know what they do, but they don't have the business background. So that's where, over the past 5-7 years, I've been helping business owners until November 22, when AI rolled out in mass, when ChatGPT rolled out. I've now incorporated, in addition to helping business owners with that business foundation, I also help business owners and kind of larger companies as well be able to understand how AI can help them really supercharge and grow their business.
I really want to know more about that. The artificial intelligence, it's changing the game. I'm not gonna lie,
It
it's
is.
changing the game. Um, Before we dive deep into artificial intelligence and AI, because I feel like that's gonna be like the main topic of the podcast. Um, Take us back to like how you got started, like into the entrepreneur space, like how you even like thought that this is something you wanted to do.
Great question. So my dad owns a restaurant, owns a barbecue place. My dad right now is in his late 70s. He has had that restaurant for literally 50 years. So I grew up working in the restaurant literally from the time I could almost walk. And so I grew up seeing a family owned business up close and personal. And I realized watching my dad, because he was also kind of what I call that dualpreneur,
Mm.
where he did exactly what I did for years. He worked out at one of the local plants. He also had this business. And I just saw he didn't have access to a lot of information and resources to grow the business. Again, he is my ideal client. He's someone who was, when he first started, he was pretty good at the restaurant. It's actually barbecue. It's one of the top 50 barbecue places in Texas. As a
Which one?
matter of fact,
Oh,
it's McMillan's Barbecue
okay,
in Fannin, Texas, just
okay.
right outside of Victoria. And he continued to hone his skill on his craft in barbecuing, but he had to just learn the business side of business, just getting advice from people, not always the best advice, because typically you don't want to get advice from friends and family who've never owned a business.
They always have the best advice for you.
Oh God, yeah, they are always going to be, boy, that peanut gallery for you. And what made me want to help business owners is my dad was so busy, and here's where I learned my hustle from. He was so busy trying to build a comfortable life for our family, he missed almost everything that I did in school. I did a lot of things, academically. I was in a number of sports. He didn't really get to make a lot of those things because he was trying to build a business. And I said, if I can show business owners, here's a set of tools. Here's what you can do to understand the business side, and let me connect you to people that you need. Because a lot of times, business owners don't know who they need to go to. If I can shorten that learning curve and allow you to continue to enjoy your family, because trust me, once those kids grow up, that's time you can never get back. That's what made me decide to want to help business owners. I never wanted another child to not have their parent there because they were trying to grow a business, not just, and again, just kind of bootstrapping, not knowing what to do and missing out on that quality time.
No, I can relate a lot because I'm currently working a job and trying to build a business. But it's the same business I had in the past, but I restarted it due to my own what would you say? I would say like just my own choices in life. Does that make sense? Yeah. So my own choices led me to stop the business. Now I'm restarting back up. But what I notice is I'm all in. Like the business is like a relationship.
Yes.
There's no going out. There's no partying. There's no
You're in it.
Yeah, like if you're dating someone and you're drinking and you're partying and you're going out, you're most likely going to lose the relationship.
Right.
That's how it is with business.
Yes.
So it's like I'm all in, but like I can see where like that can have an effect. That can have an effect on other areas of your life when you want to try to spend more time with your families and do things and see the world and things like that. Because it's like you want your business to keep growing, and you feel like if you take your eye off it for 1 second, it's done. And
absolutely. And Marcus, the statistics on business, and you've probably heard these things, it's crazy. New business owners, within that first 2 years of business, about 33%, so about a third of them go out of business. By year 5, 50% of business owners are out. So if you can make it to year 5, it's a 50-50 shot that a business owner is going to make it. But to get to 10 years, by the time 10 years rolls around, it is about 75% of business owners end up failing by year 10. It is so difficult. And a lot of it goes back to not having access to information, resources, and people that truly know how to guide you in entrepreneurship.
So for those people out there who are wanting to start a business, they're like, yo, they might be watching this podcast. They have dreams and goals. They want to start a business. Maybe they never have. Maybe they're like, they thought exactly what you said, like a business is going to be too time consuming. I want to be spending time with family. What advice can you give them?
Number one, first big piece of advice. If you want to start a business and you already have an idea of what you want to do, you have got to test the market. That's where I see so many businesses fail, because it may be something you like, or you had everybody, all your family and friends said, hey, Teri, you make the best cupcakes ever. You need to open a bakery. So now all of a sudden, Teri's going to open a bakery. Friends and family, and this is real talk, friends and family will not sustain you in your business. They will encourage you.
Sometimes they won't even support you. I hate to say it, but sometimes they won't even. Yeah.
I'm saying they are not going to sustain you. Again, often they won't support you. They will encourage you. They'll say, oh yeah, Teri, go out and open that business. You can do it. But you just can't do it on encouragement alone. You've got to have people buying your products and services. So number one, test the market before you go full-fledged and, going in, if at all possible, before you go into like a brick and mortar location, before you've spent all this money on overhead, test the market. If you've got a product, see if people are going to buy that product. People outside of friends and family, see if they're going to buy that product. Understand who you are marketing to. Understand who that product, or if it's a service, understand who it's for and see if people want it. Then you can always grow and say, okay, now it's time for me to open a business. And again, you don't have to roll in typically into a brick and mortar. I grew up in, like I said, a restaurant. So if you have a desire to, open up a restaurant or some type of food business, start small. Do catering first. Get a food truck before you start putting in a lot of, again, back to a lot of overhead. But test the market. Then surround yourself with people who can help you. One of the best free resources, Marcus, that's out there are small business development centers, SBDCs. Almost every area is going to have one. They're typically attached to a college or a university where anyone lives. Those SBDCs have advisors that are paid for by tax dollars. So you can go in as someone who's thinking of a business. You don't know for sure yet if you want to, but you need some advice. Or you may be somebody who started a business, but you need some more help. You can go in and get business consulting. You can get business advice, and it is no charge to you. And they help in all areas. But, check out some of the SBDCs in your area if you were thinking about starting a business or if you're new in business.
And I can validate exactly what you just said. Test the market. That's very, I feel like that is number one, because I've tried to start multiple businesses without testing the market. It's something I always like. And I'm like, it never makes it past like 90 days.
Right.
But I do want to add something to that. So testing the market is key, but also I believe you need to be all in, because there's multiple businesses that I started I was not all in on, and I wasted lots of money and time. And so test the market and all in. But I do want to ask you, what is testing the market? Because I've always tried, like, the more I'm trying, like, the more I'm learning and the more I'm trying to like actually test the market, I feel like I just don't know like the proper way to test, like to test my offer or my product.
Great question. So easy ways and inexpensive ways to test the market. First and foremost, whatever it is you got, product, service, start with a survey. Put together, and you don't have to, spend tons of money. Put together a Google form, have a survey on there, and ask questions of your target market. Ask them, what are the challenges they're having in whatever area that your product or service is gonna fix. But start to get information from them and ask if you could come up with a solution for that problem or service. Would it be something that they're interested in? So now you're not only testing the market, you're starting to build an audience and a potential client or customer base. From there, after you get some people that say, hey, yeah, here's my pain point, here's my challenge, And yes, if you could come up with something, I'd be interested in it. Then, start with a small beta group, just a small group that you can let them try your product or service and get feedback. Because yes, and Marcus, I agree with what you said. You've got to be all in. But a lot of times what a business owner doesn't realize is you can be creating and iterating your business along the way. You don't have to have a fully fleshed out business ready to go, before you quote unquote open the doors and make an offer. Start seeing what people want. Again, do that survey, start providing some services to them. I'm sure you've probably heard of MVP,
Yes.
minimal viable product. So start with the minimum. Yes, you're all in on your business, but you don't have to be all in what you provide. Start small. Make sure it's, again, what people want, and then continue to develop that product or that service with them as you're testing. And and entrepreneurs don't like to hear this all the time. It may mean providing free service or product, again, just for a small group as you're testing the market, or deeply discounted. You don't have to do free, but do deeply discounted just to start getting a group, that beta group you can start with, so you know how to iterate and then be able to launch fully.
And back to what you're saying, like all that, the what I want to really iterate on is ideas, and like the market is literally right in front of you. You know what I mean? Like not the market, but like what they want. Because especially where you work. So I work at a bar currently while I'm building my business.
Mhm.
And when I first started there, people would go around and they're looking for the vape pens. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
they smoking all the vape pens.
Mhm.
And there was no machines around. There's no store, like there's no vape store in like the area, which is called the domain.
Yes.
And that was literally an opportunity just like sitting at my fingertips, like that I knew people wanted because they were going around asking for vapes, but I
Right.
never even like, I thought about offering it, but I wanted to offer what I wanted to offer. So I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to just come up with my own
Mhm.
idea and offer that. And guess what? It never turned out to be anything that anyone ever wanted.
Right.
So the thing, if you just look and just take a minute, open your eyes, the market is telling you what they want.
Absolutely. Kind of another real talk moment. A lot of us, when we start thinking about entrepreneurship, we're told, find something you're passionate about and,
Mm.
go make that a business. I'm going to tell you not to do that. Again, it may not be popular, but piggybacking on what you said, look for what people want. It may initially, it may not be something you are just head over heels in love with. It may not keep you up at night just dreaming and having sugar plum fairies dancing around your head when you think about that. But it's something that people will pay for. So someone once told me probably a couple of years ago, they said, Teri, what you want to do is imagine a toll booth. So, we've all gone through a toll booth. Well, prior to the pandemic, we've gone through a physical kind of toll booth and handed over money. They're like, look for those toll booths of where people need something. Then you get in that lane and you just start making money because they're coming through that lane and they will pay who is there. Again, it doesn't always have to be what you are passionate about. If you want to have a successful business, you can either grow into kind of loving it, or use that initial business to start making money. Then that can fund what you're passionate about. So again, not always a popular opinion,
Yeah.
but sometimes the passion doesn't always pay. So
That's a great perspective. I never thought about it that way. Like the toll booth idea was like really paints a good analogy.
mhm, mhm.
So let's get into the big discussion.
Uh-huh.
Half human, half robot. How can I become that?
Absolutely.
I want to be half human, half robot. I want literally people working for me while I sleep.
So you go.
I'm not sure if you're a big fan of Andrew Tate, but he's big on artificial intelligence.
Mhm.
And for a while, I was following him. I was in his programs, and I was like, I'm about to be a machine, and human at the same time. And I would make all these videos, and I'm like, I'm half human, half robot. You can't compete with
Okay.
me. I still want that. I still want to be half machine. What do you see? Let's see. I got a question for you right here.
Okay.
How do you see artificial intelligence changing the coaching and consulting business in the next 5 years?
Great question. In several ways. So, with artificial intelligence, and what I tell people is think of having an expert in every single area around. I mean, anything you can think of, having an expert at your fingertips that can help you do whatever you need to in your business. That's first and foremost. When you are a coach, you think about being a coach or a consultant, how valuable is it to, again, have every expert that's out there, literally, that knows everything about business, that can help you provide better service, that can help you determine how you want to build, grow your business, that can have a literal conversation with you and kind of walk you through ideas you have never thought about. That's what, and it's hard for people to wrap their mind around what AI can do for them until they kind of start playing with it. So, number one, as a coach or consultant, what I see happening is you now have the ability to get consulted yourself on how to best grow your business. You now have the ability for AI to help you really hone in on who your target audience is. Really understand what the pain points are of that target audience, because I can put it in, whether it's ChatGPT or another platform, what are the top pain points for small business owners in their first 3 years of operation who have a service-based business, who live in metropolitan areas. And in 20 seconds, I'm going to have those top pain points. It gives me information at my fingertips that I can use. Number one. Number two, I can now scale my business because I can help use AI to help me provide advice to clients. We are all, as a coach or a consultant, we are all finite in our knowledge. We only know what we know, we know what we've learned. Back again, now I've got access to every top consultant in the world I have at my fingertips, and I can ask them, what do they think about something? And I'm doing it all through AI.
That sounds very dangerous.
Why does that sound dangerous?
That sounds very dangerous. This is what I'm thinking about. So as I'm listening to you, I'm going back to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I can have a better conversation with ChatGPT than I can my own friends.
Real talk?
Like, sometimes. I can have, I'm actually, learning stuff, and I'm, it's scary because, I'm talking to this thing every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you see people getting lost inside this?
Yes. It can be overwhelming because it can do so much. What I tell people to do is find one or two things you want to improve, again, in your business, in your personal life, professional life, or what have you, and start like a little pilot program and ask if it's ChatGPT, because that's going to be the go-to right now for a lot of people is using ChatGPT. It was the first to market. They've done a recent update that's absolutely amazing. And simply ask ChatGPT, hey, I am a coach in this particular area. What can you do to help me? Again, let it tell you. It can be overwhelming, but it's just like we've all heard that saying, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? People just need to kind of start literally playing with it, because you can't break it. You can't break AI. Just start playing and see what they get back.
Well, I'm seeing this when Facebook was launched, when TikTok was launched, when Instagram was launched, everyone's plugged to their phones. You know what I mean? Everyone's on social media. And I'm seeing this being almost just as addicting. because you're getting like information at your fingertips, the dopamine hit, and you just want more and more and more and more and more.
Absolutely. And now, what people have to be careful of is to not let it take away your critical thinking. So, and I know that's one of the big reasons that the kind of education industry is so concerned, for children, K through 12 and in college. But the power of AI comes with, and I stole this formula from SHRM, the Society of HR Managers. And one of the things that they say is AI plus HI equals ROI. So it's AI, of course, artificial intelligence, plus HI. The HI is human ingenuity. That's what gives you your ROI. So you always still have to critically think about what that AI is telling you, be able to interpret it and see where you can best fit it. You can't let it do all of the thinking for you.
And what do you say for how? So I like the way you said that, but how in the future can you control AI and not let AI control you?
That's probably going to be hard for people. Honestly, here just recently, there was ChatGPT had a major outage, and they were down. A couple of probably about 4 or 5 hours. And you should have seen even me, like, oh my God, is it down? Is it down? And because we've already become those who are using, ChatGPT or AI, we've become kind of dependent on it. It goes back to you just have to, and everybody's going to have to be responsible. We're going to have to put on our big girl and big boy undergarments and learn to be responsible where it is not just taking over absolutely everything we do, where we use it just like you would use that assistant that you may have hired. That assistant may not always be there. You've got to be able to, again, critically think and work without them. We've got to just put on personal responsibility to be able to do the same thing.
Spin some fire today. Love it. Love it. So what are some tools? Can you share some tools that you use, like some of the top AI tools that you use right now in business, or that maybe you might recommend to other businesses?
Absolutely. Again, number one is going to be ChatGPT. I think it's the most intuitive. It's the easiest for people, especially who haven't used it a lot or haven't used AI at all, or kind of skittish. ChatGPT is very user friendly, and it will do, I'm going to say, probably 90% of what anybody would need to have done, what most business owners, coaches, consultants would need to have done. Number two is going to be Claude, Claude. So Claude is going to be another AI platform. Claude is really good for content, for being able to do, content writing. It does great, whether it's social posts, blogs, articles, that type of thing. I personally think Claude can actually do a little bit better job on that content than ChatGPT. Reason being, Claude sounds a little bit more human. And you don't have to ask it to do as many iterations as sometimes you do ChatGPT to get what you want. The third one is going to be this one. This is the one they call the Google killer. The third one is Perplexity. It's Perplexity. Perplexity. What is amazing about Perplexity is it will, anything you would put in a search in Google, you just put in that search in Perplexity, and what it'll do is it will go, Marcus, it will scrape the internet for the top information on the search you put in. So for example, if you wanted to ask it, what are the best ways for me to grow my business online in 2024? So it's going to go scrape the internet and it's going to pull the information for you. It'll give you a summary of kind of what the top answers are. But the great benefit in it is it's going to also cite all of the sources where it pulled that information from. Because one of the big issues with AI is disinformation.
Yeah,
And
that sounds amazing and powerful.
it absolutely is. And so think about, when you go do a Google search. Okay, say, yeah, we'll do a Google search. Now we've got, 1,800 different hits that come up. And you've got to decide, okay, which one you're going to read, go through, and pull out that information. With Perplexity, like I said, it'll go scour, get the top ones, and then it will do links and cite all of the information that it's providing. So Perplexity is great for research. When you need something, again, whatever you put in Google, drop it in Perplexity.
So Chat GPT, number one.
Hmm?
Clause, number two.
Claude.
Claude,
Mhm.
Claude,
Mhm.
CLAUD.
Uh-huh.
And
CLAUDE
E, okay. And then Perplexity.
and Perplexity.
Perfect. Those
Those
are the top three.
those are the top three that I would recommend. And there's also some tools that are out there. Again, I'm happy to provide as well if people connect. There's some tools, some GPTs, some customized GPTs that are going to be for specific roles in a business. So yes, you can use ChatGPT. And so again, don't get me wrong, ChatGPT is amazing. You can use ChatGPT, but you can also use ChatGPT that focuses on where you're kind of communicating directly with a CEO. It puts on the role of a CEO, a CFO, a brand manager. It's about 60 different types of roles. And that, again, those are some amazing resources. I'm happy to share as well for those who connect.
Hmm. One, I want to appreciate you for sharing so much valuable information because so far you're going deep and I love it so far. Here's a bigger question
Okay.
for those who fail to change, because we always have the people who fail to change. They want to stick with the old ways and they don't want to add new to their life. What's in store for them, and how long do you think they have before artificial intelligence just completely ruins their careers? Because it's going to take, I hate to say it, but it's going to take over a lot of careers, and it already is.
Absolutely. This is something that people have got to have at least, and I don't care if this is somebody who already is in business, if it's somebody who's a career professional and an employee and working for somebody, you have got to have at least a base level knowledge of AI to be able to continue to move forward in any type of profession or any type of business. And I'll give you a frame of reference. So when we moved from to the industrial age, from like agriculture and went to the industrial age, it took about 100 years to make that transition.
Okay.
When the internet kind of first really came out in mass, when the internet came out, it took about 30 years to kind of have full internet adoption where it's just, everybody's got access to internet. You cannot operate without it. AI, the thing with AI is it is doubling in its capacity of what it can do every 6 months. So what that means is when you have no knowledge of it today and you don't want to learn it, you're not just, oh, I'm going to catch up in a couple of years. You are left behind. And employers are, again, I'm in staffing and recruiting. Employers now, in many positions, they want somebody who has at least a base level knowledge of being able, and when I say base level, I mean just even if it's being able to go in and know how to maneuver around on Chat GPT and get some output that can help you in your day job or your profession, and certainly as a business. The statistics are crazy with employers, with the leadership of employers, of companies who say that AI is absolutely going to change the workforce, the makeup of the workforce. So you've got to have, people can't be afraid. And I encourage people, again, you can't break it. Dip your toe in it, kind of just play around on it, If you need to, of course, I'll say, hey, contact me. And I actually do a lot of free workshops. I've got a business partner. We do free workshops. Use YouTube University just to dip your toe in, but you've got to have an understanding of it because it will replace people.
You
It
said
will.
YouTube University. Is that like a specific
Nope.
channel?
Nope. I'm just saying that kind of in general.
Okay,
Going to
okay. Yeah,
YouTube. Yeah.
because I was also going to ask you. I was going to ask you, like, where do people learn about this? Because like there is like most people are using it, but I don't think they're actually learning it. And I'm saying that because me myself, I do use it, but I'm not learning how to use it. Like how to use it to actually like get ahead. I think there's a difference between like knowing there's Chat GPT, knowing there's Claude AI, knowing there's the
Perplexity.
perplexity, but like actually learning like how powerful these are and how to properly use them. Have you
So
have you
yes,
have you figured a way? Have you figured out a way to actually learn more about these?
absolutely. So I'll give you. There's a couple of podcasts
Okay.
that I follow with AI. Number one is a podcast called um, Everyday AI. And again, so they like Monday through Saturday, they have usually a 30 to 40-minute segment about something that you can utilize. Again, not just talking to be talking, but some specific skill set, something you can utilize with AI. So everyday AI is one I listen to. Another is leveraging AI, and it does kind of a similar thing. The third one I would recommend is one called Using AI at Work. And so that's a great one to start seeing some use cases of how you can actually use AI at work. And then lastly, like I said, we are doing a lot of free workshops, trainings, that sort of thing, just to bring people up to speed, to be able to show them how to have and hands-on. It is very hands-on,
Yeah.
virtual training where people can see live training. Here's how you absolutely can use it. Here's some use cases, and here's how you can use it to start getting ahead.
Awesome. No, I'm going to subscribe to those podcasts, but also you said you help people with this too. So I might be in
Mhm.
contact with you after this podcast to
Absolutely.
pick your brain and see what we can do. If we can, there's maybe some ways we can work together.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Would love to.
Before we move on, because I do want to talk to you about some communications and stuff like that. I feel like you've been like, I kind of look up to you whenever like, because the fact that you're good at building relationships, and I want to learn more about that from you. But before we move on, let's move on to the scarier part of AI. I
Okay.
recently saw a YouTube video about the Antichrist and possibly using artificial intelligence to like, what I mean, like control the world. Like, or he could be artificial intelligence. What's your thoughts on that? Do you,
So now I will keep my religious thoughts out of it. Well, because I absolutely believe in Antichrist and that he is coming, but that it will be an actual man. However, in what AI, the bad part of AI represents, yes, it absolutely in the wrong hands, in the kind of hands and minds of people who want to do harm, it can be very harmful.
Because it
I've had
knows,
a
I'm not gonna lie, it knows everything about you. It knows everything you want because you're literally talking to AI like you would a friend.
yep.
And that stuff, like I just was chatting with Chat GPT yesterday, and it was like memory saved.
Yep.
So like it's remembering everything, literally everything about you,
Mhm.
and that can be scary.
No, it can be. Now, keep in mind, though, Marcus, I tell people that the internet was already doing that anyway before AI,
Yes.
before we got access to AI. Between cookies and everything that was being saved in Google search and stuff we were doing online, that stuff was already a lot of stuff was already being saved about us. Now, yes, AI can absolutely take it to the next level. So, what I tell people they need to really start looking at is we've got to become really good kind of investigators when it comes to what we're seeing online, because now you have that whole deep fake, those deep fake things with videos, pictures, people supposedly people making a video and they were doing this, that, and the other, or said something, but it wasn't them. With AI doing pictures and illustrations, it was so funny. One of the things that I share is here recently, there had been a Fisher Price. So the toy company Fisher Price, somebody had made a picture of basically a seance game that was supposedly from Fisher Price. And it had a caption was, now your little one can talk directly to grandma who's no longer here. And people were up in arms. People were having a fit, and they were like, "Oh my God, we're canceling Fisher Price and boycotting Fisher Price." But if people just took a quick minute, and on the surface you look at it and it's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they did this." But if you look at it, you see the telltale signs of it was AI. It was all AI generated. We've got to become responsible, and all of this goes back to our personal responsibility, not to fly off the handle and believe everything that we see, everything that we hear. And we've got to start looking for, how do you identify this is something that was AI generated and it's not actually real?
That is honestly, that's so true. Like you can AI can literally like replicate like for instance, like the president of the United States.
Yep.
Make a video and you might believe it.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
And imagine another world leader see something that's fake, and then you literally could have all-out war break out.
Damn. Okay, I mean, it can be crazy, but we're not gonna go down too deep on that. So yeah, I'm interested. I want to be a better communicator / relationship builder. I want to actually build relationships. I feel like I'm not gonna say I'm not the best, because I obviously have relationships and I've formed relationships with people, but I want to be better. And like, what's your keep how do you make sure that you're actually building a relationship versus making it like a one-time transactional deal?
Couple of things. Number one, truly be more interested in the other person than you are about any type of agenda.
Okay.
So relationships to me come without an agenda. When I'm, meeting with somebody, whether it's first time or the 20th time, it's always about, what can I provide you? What value can I give you? That value may be some knowledge, some information. That value might be an introduction to somebody that I think could either use your business or service, or who could be helpful. That value might be just encouraging you, but I've got to put me aside. That's number one. And that's hard for a lot of people. And especially when you're in business, because people are in business to make money. And a lot of times people want to lead with, what can I sell you? How can I make you want what I've got? Building relationships is truly based on providing value to someone else. It will always come back to you. It may not be that person do business with you, but when you can provide value, then that person may refer 10 people to you. But be more interested in others than your own agenda, and truly helping them. Helping.
So I want to know more. I really want to know more. So I'm running this podcast, and I really want to actually build relationships with my podcast guests. So right now, there's actually a couple of them that I would say the relationships are like, I would say better, but like we're in more communication than like some. How so after like running the show, like if you were me, how would you make sure that relationship is like, I would say improving versus just like this, okay, you did the podcast with me, cool, I'm not going to talk to you till next year.
Peace out. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, because like, sometimes that's how it can be. Like you do the podcast, boom, everyone goes about their life. And that, to me, I don't really see that as like actually building a relationship.
Right.
You talk to the guy, but like you're back on your own separate ways.
Right.
So what would you do if you were me to make sure that each podcast guest you had on, that you're really building a relationship with?
Number one is at the close of the podcast, once you've closed it out and it's all done and you're kind of saying your thank you so much and your your goodbyes to them after you've closed it out already, is I would ask them and I'd let them know, because Marcus, you've got a number of people that are in your sphere of influence. But I would just say, what could I do to help you in your endeavors and what you're trying to do? So ask them what it is that you can do, because you'd be surprised.
Okay.
And I'm assuming a lot of them are probably going to tell you, well, hey, if you know somebody else that I might be able to be a guest on.
Yeah, I've done that one already, and I've connected one person.
Mm-hmm. And I would start, building that guest list of podcasts where you can start introducing people to be able to be a guest on other podcasts.
Okay. So keep introducing as I'm meeting people, and I'm like, okay, this guy might be good for this person's show. I love that. Okay.
Absolutely. But what you've got to do is you have to work on ongoing relationship. So if it means, and it might be once a quarter, that you reach out to past guests and just say, hey, I just wanted to reach out to you, touch base with you. If you've got something that you've seen that, again, you think is valuable for them based on the industry that they're in or their target market that they're serving, send it to them. You see a great article or information. Hey, I just saw this information and I wanted to shoot it over to you. I thought it might be valuable. Hey, I just had this, this person on my podcast that they said something key and it made me think about you. I wanted to send that over to you. But people need to see us be more than just transactional.
Yeah, so I noticed that, like, cause I'm not gonna say I'm not saying I suck at relationships, but I know I can be a lot better. I think, especially when it comes online and you're not really talking to the person like you're not physically seeing this person every day. It's a little bit harder, especially with everyone's busy lives. Like most of the people I'm talking to are running a business. I'm running a business, and we're all pretty busy. So I want to make sure that, like, I do actually want to build relationships versus transactional.
And the other thing I say is you don't have to tackle everybody in the world, to build a relationship. Start with a small group. Start with, hey, here are 5 people that I'm going to work on, the next 3 to 6 months, deepening my relationship with them. And then just start off small. And if it means, again, kind of having a touch point with them every month, or like I said, you reach out to them and ask, hey, is there anything right now that I can help you with? What would be most valuable? That's how you do it. Again, you don't have to think about everybody in your sphere. Start with a small group and start building relationship with.
Interesting. I love that. But how do you go deeper? You know what I mean? Like, how do you actually, like, let's just say, so I had a podcast guest, I would say yesterday. He has like 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And I kind of did what you said. I asked him what he needed help with. And then I gave him someone that could actually help him, because he was looking for like a video editor, someone that can edit his videos. And I knew a guy, so I was like, okay, let me get you this guy. So I know that kind of like helped build the relationship. Past beyond that, you're saying follow up like once, maybe every month, or
kind of whatever cadence.
Okay.
It might be a different cadence for each person. Sometimes it might be, hey, you're just gonna kind of reach out quarterly. But when you follow up, again, have some reason to an extent that you saw something, you want to send them something sparked in your mind, and you're like, hey, Bob, I just wanted to pass this on to you. I don't know if it's going to be beneficial or not, but when I saw this, it made me think of you. Is this something that is this something you think you can use? But you want to kind of keep yourself in front of them, whether it's, monthly, every other month, quarterly, that type of thing. And I will say, when it's virtual, when you're not in the same geographic area as that person, sometimes you do have to work harder. Sometimes I've got people that every other month, and some are every month, every other month, once a quarter, we've got like a virtual coffee date where we get together, and it might just be 15, 20 minutes, but we intentionally get together to get caught up on what each person is doing and see how we can help one another.
Okay.
If you're in that same geographic area, I'm known for with certain coffee shops here. Again, I usually sit down with people at least 3 times a week. You can find me in one of the local coffee shops, just having that coffee date with somebody, learning about them, not pushing my agenda, but learning what I can do to help them.
So the biggest thing is just always think how you can like improve this person's life or make
Yes.
it better versus versus having like a side agenda where like, okay, my main goal is really to get this person as a client.
Correct.
Yeah. So I want to get past that. Cause I know like, trust me, I do want to get people as clients, you know what I mean? As a business owner, we want clients, but I feel like if you actually build a relationship, you add value, you have a skill, these people
Yes.
more likely will want to work with you, and it'll be better because you actually like are connected.
You know them. Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
most like, even because you could suck, you could literally be the worst. Like you could suck at your skill,
Yep.
but have a really good relationship, and you'll actually get the client longer because they will actually be like, okay, you suck right now, but like I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt because like we have such a
Yes.
good relationship, and I
Right.
know you're trying to improve.
Absolutely. And I know, like a lot of my network, I know their kids' names. I know if they just graduated or they went from, junior high to coming to junior high to high school. I know the things that are going on in their lives. And again, little easy things you do. You see something they did on social media, a milestone. It doesn't even have to be a milestone for them, but you see something, reach out to them. Hey, I saw you did this. I just wanted to give a personal congratulations from me. Shoot them a text. It doesn't have to just be that you did it and put it on Facebook, that, hey, congratulations, John, for launching your podcast. But if you've got their contact info and can shoot them a text, just shoot them a text. Hey, I saw you did this. I saw your daughter just graduated. Just wanted to say kudos, great job.
Do you have like a book you build or something? I'm curious. Like, I'm really curious. Like, how are we keeping up with all, because sometimes it can be a lot of people. So like, how are you keeping up with all this like information? Is it like stored in your head?
A lot of it is just kind of because I've done this for so many years. I'm used to storing it in my head. But for those who aren't, back to look at 3, 4, 5 people that you want to build a relationship with. It doesn't have to be your whole sphere of influence. Pick you out a couple again, and just kind of stay on stay on top of what they're doing on social. Look at different ways you can help them. Ask them, hey, who's ideal that I can refer to you? Is there something that you need that I can, a well-vetted professional I can connect you with? And just kind of work on that for a quarter. Again, 3 to 5 people work on building that relationship.
Okay. No, I love that. No, that's a good perspective. Tons of value. You've given tons and tons of value today. Before we head out, where can people find you at?
So I'm on for the most part, most social channels out there. So they can find me on Facebook, my business page at Teri R. Moten, MBA, your business problem solver. They can find me on TikTok, again, Teri Moten, MBA. They can find me on LinkedIn, Teri Moten, Teri R. Moten on LinkedIn. So anywhere on social is probably the easiest and quickest way to find me and get to me. If they have anything that they wanted to connect about, talk about from a business perspective, absolutely connect with me. Also, if they need staffing and recruiting, even if it's outside of our geographic area, I will get them in touch with somebody in their area, staffing and recruiting that can help them. So again, they can still reach me through those channels as well.
Awesome. And I'll actually link, if you give me a link, any link that you want, I'll put it in the description below as well.
Okay, I will do that.
Before we head out, I kind of messed up at the beginning of the podcast. I'm supposed to ask you a question from our last guest.
Okay.
But before I do that, I need you to come up with a question, the first question for our next guest. So normally it's a ritual that I started to put in the podcast where the last guest gets to ask the question for the next guest, the first question. But I messed up and was so interested in talking to you that I didn't ask the first question. So what question would you like to ask the next guest?
The question that I would ask them is, what is one thing that, knowing everything you know now, what's the one thing you would do differently that would have moved your business more quickly?
I love that question. All right, our question for you. I hate to say this one, but it's from a Russian mafia prankster. So do not be offended. He's
Okay.
he moved from YouTube. He's 1 million subscribers. He used to do coaching back in the day. He's doing coaching now, but
Okay.
he does have a crazier personality. So he wants to know, how many people have you killed? How many?
Bro. Now, small, I was going to say, now I don't even want to say small animals. Now, that's with a car, accidentally. But people would be, I am hoping that is a no. That, yeah.
I bet.
I didn't realize it. I take it back. I kill people every day. I kill people with kindness.
Oh, I love that one. Bet you weren't expecting that question.
No, that was pretty different.
Appreciate it. Well, again, thank you for coming on the show. It was great to connect with you again. Hang tight real quick though.
Okay.